PHNX Cardinals is wrapping up day 2 coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft, and boy, oh boy, did Monty Ossenford continue his masterful work. A day after taking Walter Nolan, 16th overall, out of Ole Miss, he comes back and gets what could be the shocking value of day 2 at 47, Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, Bo.
And of course, our draft coverage is brought to you by our friends over at Circle K. Make sure to download the Inner Circle app and start saving at the pump. And of course, at America's Thrift Shop, thank them for, of course, powering our draft coverage. But no doubt about it, called himself this, and we kind of believe it to be true. Will Johnson in a slide down to nearly, outside the top 50, landing at 47. The Arizona Cardinals to be the potential steal of the draft here. Will Johnson, we had him as our 6th ranked overall prospect, but a medical flag that came up after an injury-hampered previous collegiate season at Michigan. He had a long-term knee issue pop up on his medical record, and teams started to shy away. Monty Ossenford looked at that as an opportunity, and I think the Cardinals could benefit greatly from this. I mean, not just upside as a starting quarterback, could be their legitimate CB1 going forward.
No doubt about it. You think about some of these comments here from his press conference over the phone with the Arizona Cardinal media, the Phoenix media, definitely very frustrating. It's one of those things that motivates you more than anything. I'm awake now. I know I'm the type of player, what I am. I'm just happy to be where I'm at. He mentioned he played golf recently with Marvin Harrison Jr., talked about, I'm giving it my all to Arizona. They're getting a great player. It's frustrating. He said his knee's been healthy for 2+ years. I know how my body feels. I'm just going to go out there and show that on Sundays and show everybody what they missed on.
Yeah.
How about it?
Look, I mean, he was one of the best defenders on a team that was led by that group to a national championship in 2023?
Yeah.
Officially into the 2024 year. Under Jim Harbaugh in his final year with the Wolverines, had that pick 6. He was the defensive player of the game in that natty.
Yeah.
And then dealt with some injuries. 9 career picks at Michigan. This is a ball hawk. This is a guy that's got the size that you want, even though he's got a little bit shorter arms for the position, but also one of those guys that teammates said was one of the most locked in, recruits they'd ever seen. This guy lives and breathes football, and it matches up with his new teammates here with the Arizona Cardinals. And there isn't a draft that is tailor fit more for Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rollis's defensive secondary scheme. Like, you look at what they needed this offseason. They probably wanted to do it via veteran, and free agency didn't work out that way for them. Luckily for them, this gift kind of fell into their lap, 47th overall. And I think they got maybe the best option for them this offseason to play outside corner. And I think what they've really kind of invested a lot of premium draft capital in top 100 picks, from Garrett Williams in their first offseason together to Max Melton to Elijah Jones, and Starling Thomas mixed in there too, is a secondary that can play ball that Jonathan Gannon wants to play.
No doubt about it. He's a guy that's immediately going to come in and vie for snaps opposite Max Melton. You mentioned on our broadcast, you think he's got an opportunity to become CB1 as early as this year. I would love to see that. Continuing on, the Arizona Cardinals at 78 took pass rusher Jordan Burch. They were jumped, we think, for Princely out of Ole Miss, but then we later found out that Burch, the 6'6", 270-pound phenom out of Oregon, did take a top 30 visit. He confirmed in a conference call with the Arizona media that he took a top 30 visit with the Arizona Cardinals. We had our guy Fran Duffy on. This is what a third rounder is supposed to be. At worst, he's a rotational guy, can play inside and outside. At best, you're getting an explosive difference maker on the edge. I mean, like, built-wise, it's not apples to oranges. I know people hate when I say that, but I do think you see some like Everson Griffin with him, where he's violent at the point of attack. He's incredibly strong. He was in the collegiate scene for 5+ years. He was part of that COVID class, right? I think he was high school teammates with Xavier Thomas, Arizona Cardinal, current outside linebacker out of Clemson. So again, brought him into the facility, vetted him, and now he gets to play presumably opposite Josh Sweat, inserted into a group with B.J. Ojulari, Baron Browning, Zaven Collins, and it's let the best man win. And I love this. For a top 100 player, you're getting a best case scenario of a guy you can build around 8 to 12 sacks. And this is not a wasted pick with how they utilize the snap count, the percentage of what JG and Wallace want to do up front.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what they need. I think it's why a lot of the picks before it are so befuddling.
Yeah.
Off-ball linebackers, rotational tight ends. This is a kid that can come in, by the way, with a lot of teams that had a top 60 grade. Cardinals get him at 78.
It was an all-freak show, chosen by, was it Bruce Feldman, who covers the college games so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his all-freak show team in the top 10, just his skill set, as you mentioned, the extreme height, 6'5"-ish, close to 280. You can fluctuate that weight, and he wears it well. He's an athlete, right? And he's a guy that is 40 time 4.67, 10-yard split 1.66, projected to go right around where he did. Second, third round. Cardinals get him, in the middle of the third round, and they've got a guy that's a chess piece, that's going to play in that defensive front seven. Immediately, you see like edge. But then you find out, as we learned through Fran Duffy, this is probably a guy that matches more his game. His versatility looks more like Darius Robinson, defensive lineman, 4-3 defensive end, instead of a guy who's going to be a stand-up off-ball linebacker. But look, he's a guy that gives Nick Rallis, Jonathan Gannon the ability to do what they love to do and be multiple with their defensive fronts. And he's got tremendous upside. Can they tap into the potential? The one thing that people didn't see is his motor. They want to see an improvement in effort from Jordan Burch. He's going to be around some teammates that are not going to let him, slack and have any lows. So we'll see what that can do for a guy that's got everything you want, from the athleticism to the size, from that position.
Again, they're not going to be polished, finished products on day 3. They have, day 2 in the third round. They have question marks, right? But the value is still there. Kudos for Monty Austin for it. Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, Jordan Burch, premium players, top 30 guys, value players that are immediately going to come in and raise the floor on this defense in 2025, where you're looking at Nick Rallis maybe have an opportunity to become a head coach next offseason.